How we doing there, Cap?
I think it'll work.
Looks like the test.
This whole motion.
Really? I'm very cool. I'm very cool. Testing it right now.
It was a nightmare, but we should be in a position now where all the functions should work again.
Holy, watch your back, Taylor. Watch your back, T.
Watch your ass.
Picture this. You're watching your favorite show, Deadliest Catch, and suddenly your beloved boat just vanishes. Not just for one episode, but completely gone. That's exactly what happened to the famous Cornelia Marie, and the truth behind its disappearance is darker than any storm these fishermen have ever faced. For over a decade, the bright blue and yellow Cornelia Marie was the heart and soul of Deadliest Catch. Captain Phil Harris made this boat a household name with his tough love, his chain smoking, and his unforgettable one-liners. When Phil passed away in 2010, his sons Josh and Jake promised to carry on his legacy. Fans around the world cheered them on, hoping to see the Harris family honor their father's memory. But then something terrible happened. In August 2022, everything changed forever. A buried court document surfaced online, revealing a dark secret that Josh Harris had kept hidden for 24 years. The crime was so shocking that Discovery Channel immediately erased every trace of the boat from their network. Streaming platforms removed episodes overnight. What Josh did as a teenager didn't just destroy his own life, it destroyed everything his father had built. But let me start from the beginning, because this story is about more than just one person's mistakes. It's about a legendary boat, a family torn apart by addiction and secrets, and how one moment can destroy decades of hard work. The Cornelia Marie wasn't just any fishing boat. Built in 1989 in a small Alabama town, this 128-foot vessel was designed to be a beast. With twin engines pumping out 750 horsepower each, it could outrun storms and reach the best crab grounds before anyone else. The boat cost $2.5 million to build, which was a fortune back then, but it quickly proved it was worth every penny. The boat got its name from Ralph Collins' wife, Cornelia Marie Collins. Unlike most fishing boats named after myths or legends, this one honored a real woman who worked alongside her husband in the fishing business. Even after their divorce, her name stayed painted on the hull in bright aquamarine and white colors that made the boat easy to spot from miles away. In the early days, the Cornelia Marie faced some of the worst conditions the Bering Sea could throw at it. Ice storms, massive waves, and brutal winds were just another day at the office. The boat even helped search for survivors when another vessel, the Big Valley, went down in 2005. Only one person survived that tragedy, but the Cornelia Marie crew risked their own lives trying to save others. Then came Phil Harris. This tough guy from Washington State had been fishing since he was 8 years old. He dropped out of high school at 17, chasing dreams of making big money on the dangerous waters of Alaska. His first season was terrible. He made no money, and even quit once when things got too hard. But Phil was stubborn. He came back, and by age 19, he struck gold, earning $130,000 in 1 year. Phil wasn't just tough, he was smart. He became part owner of the Cornelia Marie in the 1990s and took over as captain in 1998. Under his leadership, the boat got even bigger and better. They cut it into 4 pieces and added 22 feet to its length, allowing it to carry 100,000 more pounds of crab. That meant bigger catches and more money for everyone. But Phil was more than just a successful captain. He was a character. He chain-smoked, drank pots of coffee, and had a mouth that could make sailors blush. Yet his crew loved him because he treated them like family. He shared profits fairly, and never asked anyone to do something he wouldn't do himself. When Phil said things like, "I feel like a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest," people couldn't help but laugh, even in the middle of a storm. In 2005, everything changed when the Cornelia Marie became one of just 4 boats featured permanently on Deadliest Catch. The producers had over 250 boats to choose from, but they picked the Cornelia Marie because of its strong catches and Phil's larger-than-life personality. Phil wasn't sure about being on TV at first. He worried that cameras would get in the way or put his crew in danger. But he eventually agreed, and it was the best decision he ever made. The show made Phil Harris famous around the world. Fans loved his honesty, his humor, and the way he could be both a tough captain and a caring father. Speaking of being a father, Phil made the bold decision to bring his sons Josh and Jake onto the boat. This wasn't just about family. It was about teaching them the family business and maybe giving them a future. Phil didn't go easy on his boys. He made them work just as hard as everyone else, maybe even harder. Viewers watched as the brothers learned the brutal world of crab fishing while dealing with their own personal demons. Jake especially struggled with addiction, and there was one heartbreaking moment when Phil looked at his son and said, "You need to go to treatment, man. At least you'll have a fighting chance." The Harris family struggles weren't just for show. Phil himself was battling serious health problems caused by years of chain smoking and hard living. He had already suffered a pulmonary aneurysm at sea in 2008, but he refused to quit smoking. His addiction to cigarettes was slowly killing him, and everyone could see it. Then came January 29, 2010. The Cornelia Marie was docked at St. Paul Island in Alaska, unloading crab after another successful trip. Without warning, Phil collapsed. A massive stroke had struck down the tough captain who had survived countless storms at sea. His crew jumped into action, calling for help and getting him stabilized for a medical evacuation to Anchorage. At first, it looked like Phil might beat the odds. He was talking, joking, and even squeezing hands. Doctors couldn't believe how quickly he was recovering. But then disaster struck again. A sudden brain bleed changed everything. Phil's condition collapsed, and there was nothing more the doctors could do. On February 9, 2010, at just 53 years old, Phil Harris was gone. The man who had survived the deadliest waters on Earth couldn't survive his own body's rebellion against years of abuse. When the episode showing Phil's final days aired, 5.4 million people watched. Many viewers said they cried right along with the Harris family. Phil wasn't just a TV captain anymore. He had become part of people's lives. After Phil's death, Josh and Jake faced an almost impossible task. They wanted to keep the Cornelia Marie in the family, but they didn't own the whole boat. Buying out the other partners would cost more money than they had, and the boat needed expensive repairs on top of that. Banks wouldn't lend to them because they thought the brothers were too young and inexperienced. For a while, Derek Ray, an old friend of Phil's, stepped in as captain. But Ray's strict leadership style clashed with the grieving brothers, especially Jake. Things got so bad that Ray accused Jake of using drugs on board and even called the police. The boat that had once been united under Phil now felt divided and broken. Meanwhile, Jake's addiction problems got worse and worse. He was arrested for drunk driving in 2010, then again for drug possession and car theft in 2017. In 2019, he went to prison for trying to distribute heroin after a high-speed police chase. The young man who had once worked alongside his father was now completely lost to addiction. Josh tried to stay strong and rebuild. He found a partner in Casey McManus, a childhood friend who had become a skilled engineer. Together, they managed to buy controlling interest in the Cornelia Marie and made major improvements, including new engines. In 2015, they became co-captains, with Josh providing the vision and Casey handling the technical side. The boat returned to Deadliest Catch, and fans were thrilled. But Josh's personal life was becoming more and more troubled. He had relationship problems, financial struggles, and his behavior was becoming erratic. Casey gradually took over more of the boat's operations, while Josh's role shrank. Then came the bombshell that destroyed everything. In August 2022, old court documents from 1998 surfaced online. These papers revealed that Josh Harris, when he was just 15 years old, had sexually assaulted a 4-year-old girl who was the daughter of a family friend. The details were horrifying. The victim was so young she couldn't even understand what was happening to her. The case had been delayed because of DNA testing, but in 1999, Josh pleaded guilty to a lesser charge. He served only 9 months in jail and completed 2 years of treatment. Many people felt this punishment was far too light for such a serious crime. For more than 20 years, Josh had kept this dark secret hidden while building his public image as Phil Harris's son, carrying on the family legacy. When the truth finally came out, fans felt angry and betrayed. How could someone who had committed such a terrible crime against a child be celebrated on television? How had this been overlooked for so long? The revelation shattered everything people thought they knew about Josh Harris. Discovery Channel moved with lightning speed. Within weeks of the news breaking in September 2022, they had erased all traces of Josh and the Cornelia Marie from their programming. The spin-off show Deadliest Catch, Bloodline, was canceled immediately. Old episodes disappeared from streaming services not just in America, but around the world. Even promotional posts and tweets were deleted. The network wanted absolutely no connection to the scandal, and they made that crystal clear through their actions. Fans had mixed reactions. Some praised Discovery for taking swift action, while others mourned the loss of the Cornelia Marie from their screens. Unfortunately, Casey McManus, who had done nothing wrong, also paid a price. When Discovery cut ties with Josh, they cut Casey too. His contract wasn't renewed, and his time on the show ended through no fault of his own. Fans felt this was unfair because Casey had always been respected and professional. He got caught in the storm and lost his television career because of someone else's crimes. The removal of the Cornelia Marie wasn't just about one boat disappearing from a TV show. It represented the destruction of a legacy that had taken decades to build. Phil Harris had worked his entire adult life to create something meaningful, something that would outlast him. His boat had become a symbol of determination, hard work, and family bonds. In one terrible moment, all of that was gone. The bright blue and yellow boat that had been the heart of Deadliest Catch for over a decade vanished from screens around the world. Fans who had followed the Harris family story for years suddenly found themselves cut off from a narrative they had invested in emotionally. The scandal also highlighted serious questions about how the entertainment industry handles background checks and due diligence. How does someone with such a serious criminal history end up as the face of a major television show? Were there warning signs that were ignored? Could this have been prevented? But perhaps most tragically, it showed how one person's actions can destroy not just their own life, but the dreams and hard work of everyone around them. Phil Harris never knew about his son's crime when he was alive. He died believing he was leaving behind a legacy his boys could be proud of. Instead, that legacy was tainted and ultimately destroyed by secrets and lies. The Cornelia Marie itself, however, wasn't done. In 2024, the boat found new life under new ownership. Taylor Jensen and his partners bought the vessel, with Jake Albanino taking over as captain. For the first time since Phil Harris's death, the Cornelia Marie was free from the shadow of the Harris family drama. The new owners made it clear that while they honored the boat's history, their focus would be on fishing, not fame. They wanted to return the Cornelia Marie to what it had always been at its core, a working vessel designed to harvest the sea's bounty in some of the most dangerous waters on Earth. This story isn't just about one boat or one family. It's about how secrets have a way of surfacing, no matter how deeply they're buried. It's about how addiction can destroy generations of a family. It's about how fame and success mean nothing if they're built on lies. Most importantly, it's a reminder that the people we see on television are real human beings with real problems, real mistakes, and real consequences. When we put people on pedestals, we sometimes forget that they're capable of falling just like anyone else. The disappearance of the Cornelia Marie from Deadliest Catch marked the end of an era. Fans lost more than just a boat. They lost a piece of television history that had entertained and inspired them for years. The bright colors and familiar silhouette that had become synonymous with courage and determination were gone, replaced by uncomfortable questions and painful truths. As we look back on this story, it's hard not to feel sad for everyone involved. Phil Harris worked his entire life to build something lasting, only to have it destroyed by secrets that came to light long after his death. Casey McManus lost his television career through no fault of his own. Jake Harris continues to battle addiction that has already cost him so much. And Josh Harris faces a future where his father's legacy is forever tainted by his own teenage actions. But maybe there's also a lesson here about redemption and second chances. The Cornelia Marie itself got a fresh start with new owners who respect its history while focusing on the future. Sometimes that's all any of us can do. Acknowledge the past, learn from it, and try to do better going forward. The real reason the Cornelia Marie disappeared from Deadliest Catch wasn't because of poor ratings or creative differences. It wasn't because the boat couldn't handle the dangerous waters or because the crew wasn't skilled enough. It disappeared because sometimes the most dangerous storms don't come from the sea, they come from the secrets we carry inside ourselves. And when those storms finally break, they can destroy everything in their path, leaving nothing but wreckage where once there was pride, tradition, and hope for the future. If this story moved you, shocked you, or made you think differently about the people you see on television, please hit that like button and share this video with others who might be interested in the truth behind the headlines. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our favorite shows. What do you think about this whole situation? Should Josh Harris ever be given another chance, or are some mistakes too serious to forgive? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.